Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with another video on the Paris Rapid and Blitz Grand Chess Tour event. This video is not on the great games, the great moves from these top players. I have chosen to show you some blunders from the first day of Blitz. The first 3 days of the Paris Grand Chess Tour were rapid games, and then there were 2 days of Blitz games with in total 18 rounds. In this video I will show you 7 big mistakes, grave mistakes from one of the participants of the Paris Grand Chess Tour. It is a bit shameful to show blunders from these top players, but I hope nobody will take offense. It's comforting to see that these top players also make mistakes in Blitz games like you and me do, and a blunder is always entertaining. Let's get into it. This position is from the first round of Blitz. White, Magnus Carlsen, black, Fabiano Caruana. Carlsen has just taken a knight on g6. If you look at the position, material is more or less equal. White has bishop and knight for a rook. And here Caruana should have taken on c7 with the queen. Then Carlsen is better, but the game is still going. Caruana made a big mistake. He took the pawn with the rook. And Carlsen found the refutation. He played knight e5. And queen, knight and bishop are all looking at the f7 pawn. Queen c5 by Caruana. Carlsen took on f7 with the bishop. Rook f takes f7. And the last move of the game, rook b8 check. Caruana resigned. If he plays king h7, then he gets mated. Queen e4 check. g6 and queen takes g6 is checkmate. If instead of king h7 he plays rook c8, then he loses the queen. Queen takes c5. The rook cannot take back because it's pinned. So rook takes b8, knight takes f7, king takes f7, queen takes a7 check, wins the rook. This forced variation was not possible if Caruana had taken with the queen. If then Carlsen had played knight e5, there is rook cd8. And Carlsen can take on f7, but everything will be swapped on f7 and the position will be about equal. For example, bishop takes f7 check, rook takes, queen takes, knight takes, king takes, rook b7 check, king f6, rook takes a7, and this is an equal position. 3 pawns against 2 pawns on one side of the board is a draw, an easy draw at this level. Let's look at the next position. This position is from the third round of Blitz. Karjakin, white, Vachier-Lagrave, black. Very complicated position. White has 2 pawns compensation for the knight, and that b6 pawn looks very dangerous. How to stop that one? Vachier-Lagrave has just played e3 check. King f1 from Karjakin, and here Vachier-Lagrave made a blunder. He played knight c3. Karjakin played b7, rook d1 check, king g2, rook d8 to try and stop the pawn, rook a8, rook d2 check, king f3, knight d5, and Karjakin promoted and won the game 15 moves later. Let's go back to the beginning after 56 king f1. When Vachier-Lagrave played knight c3, which was a bad move. He could have won on the spot with king e4. And the white king will be checkmated. If you push the pawn to b7, there's king f3. Rook a1 to stop the checkmate with rook d1. Then e2 check. King e1 and knight d4 and checkmate will follow. The checkmate threat is knight c2, and if you play rook c1 to prevent that, knight c2 check comes anyway. Rook takes, and rook d1 is checkmate. Big chance missed by Vachier-Lagrave to win against Sergei Karjakin with the black pieces. Let's go to the next one. This one is from the 4th round of the Blitz, an all-American clash. White Fabiano Caruana, black Hikaru Nakamura. Position after 39, queen takes a pawn on c6. Again a complicated position. White has 2 pawns for the exchange, and here black Nakamura should have taken the pawn with an equal position, but he played queen e5, and that was a blunder. Caruana didn't see it, he played knight c5, and then Nakamura played queen d5 check. The queens were swapped and the game petered out to a draw. But after queen e5 played by Nakamura, Caruana could have struck with knight e7 with a mating attack. The rook is attacked. The rook doesn't have many squares. If the rook goes to b8, for example, then there is knight g5 check. You cannot take that pawn. You cannot take that knight because of mate in 2 with queen g6 check, king h8, and queen h5 is a very nice checkmate. If you play after knight g5 check, if you play king h8, then there is also a mate in 2. Knight f7 check, king h7, and queen g6 is another very nice checkmate. Back to knight e7, the first move of this combination. If you play with black, queen e4 check, forcing the swap of queens, then the mate is gone, queen takes, knight takes, but after knight takes g8, king takes g8, white is winning with his 2 extra pawns in this knight endgame. Very nice combination missed by Caruana. Let's go to the next one. From the 5th round of the Blitz, this is Magnus Carlsen, the world champion, against Alexander Grischuk. Carlsen is winning. It's bishop and knight and 2 pawns versus bishop and knight and 1 pawn. But look at that pawn on b7. The king is tied to that pawn, and look at the beautiful centralized king from white. White is easily winning. Here Carlsen played king takes e6 and missed a big chance to finish the game very quickly. He should have played knight g4, and there's nothing black can do against the knight coming to f6 and then to d7 with check and the pawn promoting. For example, king c7, knight f6, knight g3, there's really nothing else, knight d7, and white wins. Carlsen didn't play knight g4, he played king takes e6, winning another pawn. But then, after king c7, Carlsen played bishop d5. It's too late now to play knight g4 because then there is knight d4 check with an equal position. After bishop d5, Grischuk played knight c3. White's advantage is gone, and Carlsen, to make matters worse, lost on time 3 moves later. Let's go to number 5. From the 6th round, white Vachier-Lagrave, black Wesley So. It's clear that white has an overwhelming position. Material is equal. Actually, black has an extra pawn. But look at that king in the middle. And all those active white pieces. So had just played queen b6 back to d8. And here Lagrave took a pawn, took on b4. And went on to win the game 16 moves later. What he had missed here is a forced checkmate, and it's not so difficult. He could have played rook takes c8, and it doesn't matter how you take back. Let's say we take with the queen, then there is bishop b5 check, and you have to give your queen, and then you will be checkmated anyway. Also, taking with the rook doesn't make a difference. There is bishop b5 check, and the king has no squares, so all you can do is give away your pieces to no avail, because you will be checkmated anyway. Lagrave missed his chance. He probably didn't mind too much because he won the game anyway, but it is quite a nice checkmate which I wanted to show you. Let's go to the next one. From the 8th and penultimate round of the day, the players must have been very tired at this stage. White Topalov, black Caruana. Very complicated position after 33, queen d2 to f2. White is better, but black is a threat. The threat is g5, followed by rook h6, checkmate. Topalov probably saw that and played queen f4, threatening to swap the queens and also making g5 impossible. That pawn will just be taken. But what he had overlooked is that there is a piece hanging on b2 now. Caruana took the piece, bishop c4, queen takes e5, bishop takes e6, queen takes e6 check, and Topalov resigned. Black wins with this extra piece. Let's go to the last one. From the last round of the day, round 9, on the 24th of June 2017, White Wesley So, black Magnus Carlsen. An equal position after queen c7 to e5 from Carlsen. So should have swapped the queens, queen takes, knight takes, and the game is still even. But he made a mistake. He played queen g4, and Carlsen did not miss his chance to win an exchange. Queen a1 check, freeing the e5 square. King h2, knight e5 with a nice little fork on queen and rook. Queen f5, knight takes d7, queen takes d7, and Carlsen won. He played rook e8, knight d5, queen e5 check, bishop g3, queen takes h5 check, and so had enough and resigned. Hope you enjoyed these 7 blunders from Paris Grand Chess Tour Day 1 Blitz. If you liked it, please let me know in the comments. I haven't gone through all the games of the second day yet. I could do a similar video on day 2, but maybe you have seen enough blunders. Let me know. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel. I'm looking forward to your comments. And if you like this blunderfest, it would be great if you could share it on YouTube. You also may want to check out my Chess to Progress channel. The link is in the description box. This is Rick from Chess to Impress. Thank you very much for watching.